Welcome back, you inquisitive listener, to another deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're setting our sights on, well, a really fascinating potential retirement spot,
Yeah.
the island of Koh Samui in Thailand.
Yes. Koh Samui. Beautiful place.
You shared a really interesting blog post exploring why foreigners are drawn there. You know, the classic Thai appeal, stunning beaches, welcoming locals, plus all the amenities you'd need.
It ticks a lot of boxes on the surface, doesn't
It
it?
really does. So our mission today is to kind of get under the skin of this information, see if Koh Samui could genuinely be that retirement paradise someone's dreaming of.
Okay, let's do it. Where does this info come from?
Right, good point.
Mhm.
The insights we're looking at are from a blog post by Ocean Worldwide. They're a luxury real estate agency, actually based over in Phuket. That's Pooket, Phuket.
Okay, Phuket. Got it.
Yeah, and they've been operating since 2004, so quite established. Sandra O'Neill is the director there, and apparently she and her team have helped literally thousands of families and investors over the years.
Wow. Okay, so they know the market.
Exactly, and it's worth noting their focus, they specialize in luxury residential real estate, those really high-end properties, both in Phuket and Koh Samui.
Right. So that's the lens they're viewing it through. Luxury properties.
Precisely. So with that context set, let's dig into what this blog post actually tells us about retiring there.
Absolutely. And the first thing that jumps out is just how varied Koh Samui seems to be. This post highlights different areas, each with its own character.
That's so key, isn't it? Finding the right vibe for your retirement.
Totally. Your ideal setup really depends on matching the atmosphere to what you actually want day to day.
Okay, so let's start exploring. How about Beaufort? It's up on the northern coast. The article paints it as this blend, like relaxed but also convenient. Sounds appealing.
It does sound like a sweet spot. Beaufort, yeah. The post really talks up Fisherman's Village there. Apparently it's got these lovely old traditional wooden
Yeah,
buildings.
nice. History.
Yeah, but now they're filled with, modern restaurants, cool shops, bars. It's that mix of old and new.
Charming. That does sound charming. And they mention a Friday walking street market.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a must-do. Proper local scene.
Yeah, imagine. Great food, maybe find some unique things. Definitely beats a standard Friday night back home, maybe. The post really hammers home that old world charm and the laid-back feel of Fisherman's Village.
Which is exactly what many people are looking for when they think about retiring abroad, isn't it? That slower pace, a bit of culture.
Absolutely, and location-wise,
Well, Bukut's near Bangkok Beach, too, which is handy for swimming, sunbathing,
the essentials.
right, and ferry access to other islands. So good for exploring.
Okay, Beaufort. Strong contender for that culture-convenience mix. Now, what about Chow Mon? The article shifts focus there to tranquility and, the sea views, especially sunsets.
Yes, Choing Wan. It's positioned as definitely more peaceful. Big draw for many retirees, that peace and quiet.
And affordable condos.
That's what it says. Affordable expat condominiums are available, which is a huge plus if you're watching the budget, but still want those views.
Views without the huge price tag sounds like a winner. The blog post gets quite poetic about the sunsets there. Calm waters, clear horizons.
Paints a picture, doesn't it? Romance,
Right.
serenity. And they link that to a slower pace of life, a friendly community. It reinforces that whole tranquil haven idea.
Makes you think, though. Would you prefer Beaufort's buzz or Choang Mon's quiet? Different strokes.
Exactly. Which brings us to Choing. This sounds like the polar opposite. The article says it's the place for nightlife lovers.
Right, the heart of the action. If you want hustle and bustle, Choang's the spot, according to this. Vibrant beach scene, water sports, parties.
Yeah, full of energy. And apparently festivals like Loy Krathong and Songkran are really lively. They're big celebrations.
Sounds fun if that's your thing. Constant buzz. And interestingly, it mentions a wide range of villa developments in Chaweng, too.
Suggests plenty of housing choice, even in the busy area. So retiring in Choing would be, well, very different, very social, lots going on.
Definitely a different speed. Okay, then there's Lamai. The blog post seems to put this one kind of in the middle.
That's the feel I got, too. A balance. Still plenty happening, but maybe not as full-on as Choing. It's the second biggest resort area, so it has the amenities.
And crucially, less crowded is mentioned again. That seems to be a recurring plus point for areas outside Chaweng.
Convenience without the chaos, maybe. And it mentions local markets, fresh produce, good restaurants and shops. A nice mix.
Yeah, Lamai sounds like a solid option if you want activity but still value some peace.
Agreed. And finally, the article takes us to Mainam. This one sounds like pure tranquility.
Yeah, secluded serenity is the vibe here. The post talks about a quiet village atmosphere, more traditionally Thai.
Definitely aimed at escaping the main tourist hubs. More authentic, maybe?
Seems like it. They even suggest it's good for meditation, finding inner peace. Lack of tourist traffic is highlighted as a key benefit.
So Mainam sounds ideal for someone really prioritizing quiet and perhaps a more local way of life.
It's amazing how different these areas sound within one island. Really makes you consider what your personal retirement vision looks like, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It highlights the importance of visiting and getting a feel for each place yourself, probably.
Good point. Okay, so moving beyond specific areas, the blog post dives into some really practical stuff. Super important. Healthcare, for instance. What's the picture there?
It sounds pretty decent, actually. There are both public and private options. The Post does note, though, that private hospitals generally offer a higher standard of care.
Makes sense. And language.
Big, plus, many doctors and nurses speak English in the private facilities, apparently. That removes a major barrier for expats.
Definitely eases the mind. Oh, and they give the emergency number 1669. Useful. And list some main hospitals. Bangkok Hospital Samui, Bandon Thai International, Samui International.
So, established places, good to know. And pharmacies are easy to find for everyday things, over-the-counter stuff.
Also very handy.
Absolutely. And the advice on having health insurance, especially international plans, is spot on for anyone retiring abroad. Can't stress that enough.
Totally agree. They also briefly mention Thailand's reputation for medical tourism.
Yeah, which sort of hints at a certain baseline quality in the private system, at least.
Right. Okay, next big one. Cost of living. The article flags it as generally more affordable than many Western countries. That's a huge draw for retirees, obviously.
Massive. Affordable housing is key, and they mention potential discounts for long-term rentals. That's really relevant.
Do they give figures?
They give some rough average monthly costs in Thai baht for studios, one-beds, houses. Just averages, of course. Location and quality make a big difference.
Naturally. But it gives you a ballpark. And food.
Eating out locally at Thai places is very affordable, as is shopping at local markets for groceries. Imported stuff, though, expect to pay more.
Standard expat experience, really. What about getting around?
Songtas, those shared taxi trucks, are mentioned as budget-friendly. Scooter rentals offer independence, but, and this is important, they stress helmets and having the proper license.
Yes. Safety first, especially on Thai roads. They give a rough monthly budget breakdown, too, in
Yeah.
GBP.
Yeah, a sample budget covering the basics: housing, food, transport, utilities, entertainment. Useful as a starting point, but everyone's spending is different, you know?
Oh, of course. And don't forget things like visa costs, potential trips home, or exploring Asia. Those need factoring in, too.
Definitely. Budgeting needs to be comprehensive.
Okay, what about feeling safe? Security. How does Koh Samui rate, according to this article?
Generally, quite positively. It says crime rates are relatively low. Like many places, petty theft can happen, especially in touristy spots, but serious crime is rare.
That's reassuring.
And it mentions Koh Samui is ranked as Thailand's 4th safest city. That's a pretty decent statistic.
It is. And practical help.
Tourist police stations with English-speaking officers are available. Plus, for extra peace of mind, there's the option of gated communities with security.
Right. And the usual advice applies. Use common sense. Make sure your driving license is valid if you drive.
Standard stuff, but always worth repeating. They also give emergency numbers: Police 191, Fire 199. Good to have.
Okay, so generally safe. Now, what about settling in? Finding your tribe, community, and social life.
The blog paints a welcoming picture. It talks about that blend of local Thai culture and a growing expat community. Seems like a nice balance.
Is the expat community large?
Sounds sizable enough that it's relatively easy to settle in. And online groups, Facebook groups for expats, social networks they're mentioned as great ways to connect initially.
Yeah, those can be lifesavers when you first arrive somewhere new.
Definitely. And the post also stresses respecting Thai culture, learning basic phrases, the custom of removing shoes indoors, small things that go a long way.
Absolutely. Showing respect is key. And getting involved in local festivals like Songkran and Loy Krathong sounds amazing.
Fantastic way to connect and experience traditions. Plus, it mentions lots of social activities, hiking clubs, book clubs, things like that. Plenty of ways to meet people.
So opportunities exist to build a social life. They suggest how to find the expat community.
Yeah, practical tips. Check Facebook groups, go to community events, find the popular expat hangouts. Pretty standard ways to get started.
Good. Practical advice. Okay, beyond socializing, what about just enjoying the island, recreational activities?
Well, it makes clear there's more than just beaches. which is good. For golfers, there are apparently well-kept courses and driving ranges.
Nice. Water lovers,
Sailing, kayaking, boating, all mentioned. Sounds lovely.
definitely. And on land.
Nature and hiking trails get a mention too. Waterfalls, jungles, hidden beaches. Options for different fitness levels, it seems.
So, plenty to keep active and explore the natural beauty. Great. Okay, let's talk property more directly. The real estate market. Now remember, this info is from Ocean Worldwide.
Right, the luxury agency based in Phuket, run by Sandra O'Neill since 2004. Experts in high-end stuff in Phuket and Koh Samui.
Exactly. So what insights do they offer on the Koh Samui market itself?
Well, they describe it as diverse. You've got condos, villas, houses, townhouses, even land available. Lots of choice. Different architectural styles, too, apparently.
So you can likely find something to suit your taste. What about investment potential?
They touch on that.
Yeah.
Potential for rental income, especially in popular spots like Beaufort and Choi Mon. But wisely, they also add a caution about market fluctuations
Sensible.
and strongly recommend talking to a local agent, someone like them, presumably for current specific advice.
Makes total sense. Local knowledge is vital in real estate. Do they mention rental yields?
A quick look, yeah. Potential yields for condos, villas, houses, gives a rough idea for research. And they outline the buying process steps.
Like what?
Finding an agent, getting legal advice crucial. Doing due diligence, negotiating, signing contracts, transferring ownership. The usual flow.
That legal advice step feels extra important when buying overseas.
Absolutely critical. And they stress understanding local laws, especially around foreign ownership. Things like leases versus potentially using a Thai company structure.
Yeah, that can be complex. Definitely need expert legal help there.
For sure. As the blog likely advises, experienced legal counsel is a must.
Okay. And finally, the article rounds off by touching on cultural experiences beyond the beaches.
Which is great because really living somewhere involves more than just the scenery.
Totally. They mentioned getting involved in festivals again.
Yes, because it's such a good way to engage. Also, Thai cuisine, trying it, obviously, but also maybe taking cooking classes.
Ooh, fun. And maybe learning a craft.
Exactly. Art and craft workshops, like batik painting or pottery, are suggested. Creative ways to connect.
And just exploring local markets, trying all the amazing food, that's got to be high on the list.
An absolute must. Those experiences really enrich your life there.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive into Koh Samui for retirement, it's clear the island offers a really compelling mix. You've got everything from the buzz of Chaweng to the quiet of Mainam.
A real spectrum of lifestyles available.
Definitely seems like there's a spot for various preferences. And when you factor in the practical stuff, healthcare, cost of living, safety, community, the picture painted by this Ocean Worldwide blog post seems generally positive.
It's easy to see the appeal for potential retirees.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, these insights came from that post by Ocean Worldwide, the luxury real estate folks in Phuket, remember, P-O-O-K-E-T, Phuket, since 2004. Sandra O'Neill's team, helping people find those high-end homes in Phuket and Koh Samui.
Their perspective is valuable, especially on the property side.
For sure. So a final thought for you, our listener. Thinking about everything we've just discussed about Koh Samui, the different areas, the lifestyle factors, the culture, what single thing resonates most with your idea of retirement? Is it the energy, the peace, the affordability? Maybe that's the starting point for your own research.